Macmillan Audio presents This I Believe, Volume 2, More Personal Philosophies of Remarkable Men and Women, edited by J. Allison and Dan Gediman with John Gregory and Vicki Merrick. The essays are read by the authors with introductions from J. Allison. This I Believe is dedicated to Margot Trevor Wheelock, who inspired the original series.
I believe in mystery.
I believe in family.
I believe in being who I am.
I believe in the power of failure.
And I believe normal life is extraordinary.
This I believe. I'm Jay Allison. Dangling at the end of each essay in this audiobook is an implied question. What would you say? What would you say in 500 words to capture a core principle that guides your life? Can you name a belief that underlies your actions? In the discovered truths of your experience, what abides? This question is more important than what one thinks of a given essay. There are 75 of them here, after all. As readers and listeners, each of us is bound to take issue with some or be stirred by others. And your reactions won't be the ones of the person sitting next to you. One man's cliché is another man's revelation. Often I find that an essay may not strike me one day, but will carry meaning months later when my own circumstances have changed. As editors, we have aimed to be as inclusive as possible in our selection, choosing statements from teenagers to those in their 90s, and from a wide range of profession, background, and experience all over this country. You'll find writing from the famous and the unknown. Many essays arrived over the transom, some we solicited directly. There are statements here from Nobel Prize winners, high school students, a diner waitress, an Iraq war veteran, a nun, an astronaut, a professional skateboarder, well-known artists, writers, and scientists, a drug addict, a dental technician, a former Guantanamo interrogator, and many others. Ted Gupp, one of the essayists from our first collection, said of this, I believe, quote, "If you take all the essays in the aggregate, what you have is a sort of national anthem. That's the beauty of it. You have a multiplicity of voices, and it's a celebration of that multiplicity." End quote. This, I believe, is a snapshot of the convictions of our age. The project is spread around the globe, and the response has been overwhelming. About 50,000 people, that's the count at this writing, you can find them at thisibelieve.org, have submitted essays. Our database has been analyzed by researchers James Pennebaker and Cynthia Chung at the University of Texas using their so-called meaning extraction method, which scanned the more than 17 million words in the essays, finding that writers used 71,000 different words. Among those, they analyzed the 500 most commonly used, excluding pronouns, articles, and prepositions, focusing on nouns and verbs. They looked for combinations and thematic links, and concluded, for instance, that older people wrote more of religion, America, and the nature of existence, while younger people often wrote of financial issues, sports, and music. People in the 30 to 50 age bracket tended to write more about relationships. Males were more likely to reference science and sports, females, illness, and marriage. But this, I believe, is more concerned with the individual than the aggregate. As Edward R. Murrow said in his introduction to the 1950s series, quote, "In a way, our project has been an invasion of privacy, like demanding a man to let a stranger read his mail." End quote. Our team sits down every day to open these emphatically non-trivial missives, and we feel a great responsibility when we review them. My colleague, Vicki Merrick, with whom I edited most of these essays, said she feels like she should wash her hands before sitting down to work. We have admiration for those who have stood up to state their innermost thoughts. In an age of irony, an earnest statement is a target. In the newsroom environment through which these essays pass, the prevailing atmosphere is appropriately skeptical and even harsh. At its worst, it can be cynical and mocking. What advantage comes to people, particularly prominent ones, in making themselves vulnerable by speaking from the heart, standing without defense, before an audience of millions? It is precisely this.
Sample complete.
Ready to continue?